That was not my mic. Hello there and welcome. Let me get that again. This lightsaber has seen a lot. Through the Clone Wars, the rise and fall of the Empire, and the First Order. Yeah, this lightsaber has kind of been through it all. Some people know it as Luke's lightsaber or Rey's lightsaber, but to me, it's Anakin's lightsaber. I love it. And it's also just a representation of the Skywalker name itself. To Anakin about his saber, Obi-Wan says, "This weapon is your life. Don't lose it." After Anakin's first lightsaber was lost somewhere in a droid factory on Geonosis, he built a new one and it would be carried on for Skywalkers to come. He created his new lightsaber to have a single blue high-energy plasma blade. The blue meant peace and protection, and had a cylindrical alloy metal and carbon composite hilt, and components like a power cell, activation matrix, ring tuning flange, magnetic stabilizing ring, emitter black gripping, and a mechanism that could change the length of the blade. It could even function underwater so that Anakin and also Luke could use it in underwater worlds like Mon Cala. Luke Skywalker describes the hilt saying it's a metal cylinder about this long with black grips and a few switches on the side. A simple description of what Anakin's lightsaber looks like. Anakin gripped the hilt with his upper hand for support and used the lower to direct the blade. As a Jedi Knight and general of the Grand Army of the Republic, Anakin's lightsaber would be with him everywhere he went and during every battle he fought. With this saber, he used Form 5, and his skills were considered impressive by other Jedi before and after the Order fell. With the saber, he would defeat Tyrannus, betray Windu, duel Obi-Wan, win a bunch of Clone Wars battles, and execute Order 66. This lightsaber has done pretty terrible things. It was with him from the first battles of the Clone Wars till his fall to the dark side and final duel using it on Mustafar. During the Clone Wars, it made it into Grievous's collection for just a moment, but quickly returned to Anakin with a trick of the Force. And then yeah, it was finally lost by Anakin in his duel against his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, on Mustafar. Obi-Wan left his apprentice to burn in the lava and took his lightsaber with him as he left. Obi-Wan buried Anakin's sand in a chest. Obi-Wan buried Anakin's saber in a chest out in the Tatooine desert, along with his own, and by burying both sabers, he hoped to hide his Jedi identity as well as avoid using it. And this wouldn't be the last time that the saber sees the sand, but Obi-Wan eventually did take it out, and he kept it in his possession for 19 years until Anakin's son, Luke Skywalker, was old enough to carry it himself. Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but your uncle wouldn't allow it. He feared you might follow old Obi-Wan on some full idealistic crusade like your father did. What is it? It's your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of the Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. This is a conversation that Obi-Wan and Luke had in A New Hope when the lightsaber is handed over to the next Skywalker. The saber was brought with Luke and Obi-Wan and the rest of the crew onto the Millennium Falcon, where he trained with his father's lightsaber and started to learn the ways of the Jedi. It would remain clipped onto Luke's belt, sometimes along with a blaster, as he fought for the rebellion and continued his Jedi training. He used it in skirmishes on Haradri, Saimoon 1, Tatooine, Nar Shaddaa, Vrogas Foss, the Harbinger, the Vagadar system, on Jeddah, Mon Cala, Crate, Hoth, when it helped him escape that Wampa, even though he was hanging upside down. And also Han Solo had used it to cut open the Tauntaun to keep Luke warm. He also used it on Dagobah and then was lost on Bespin. On Bespin, Anakin's lightsaber was being used by his son against himself, who had now become Darth Vader. The lightsaber, along with Luke's hand, fell to the depths of Cloud City. We won't get to see it again on screen until the sequel trilogy. Luke would return to Cloud City in search of his weapon, but he was unsuccessful. And he had to accept that a Jedi was more than one's weapon, and that a lightsaber was simply a tool that the Jedi used. There was more to being a Jedi than just your lightsaber. One of the Ugnaughts who worked in the garbage chambers on Bespin found it shortly after Luke left. Then in episode 7, Maz Kanata doesn't exactly reveal how she acquired Anakin's lightsaber. Apparently it's a story for another time, but yeah, she did. And 30 years after it being lost, it called out to Rey. This lightsaber had done terrible things, and it reminded Rey of that as she held it. Finn and Rey would proceed to use Anakin's lightsaber throughout episode 7 pretty sloppily, because they didn't know how to use a lightsaber. Then when Luke Skywalker was reunited with this lightsaber, he immediately just kind of chucked it behind himself and wanted absolutely nothing to do with his old lightsaber. What do you think? I'm gonna walk out with a laser sword and face down the whole First Order? Luke Skywalker. Rey continued to use the Skywalker lightsaber throughout the sequels, and she even claimed the Skywalker name for herself. In a forced tug of war between Kylo Ren and Rey, so much strain was put on the lightsaber that it cracked the Kyber crystal and broke the lightsaber into two. But Rey fixed it in 35 giving it kind of some new details, and continued to train with it under the mentorship of Leia Organa. Similar to when Luke acquired the saber, she trained with training remotes that Wikipedia says challenged her temper. After the final order was defeated, Rey wrapped the Skywalker lightsaber along with Leia Organa's lightsaber in cloth and buried them at the old moisture farm on Tatooine, bringing it all back. It's pretty awful how the guy who specifically says he doesn't like sand has his lightsaber buried twice in the sand. What's going on? But this is just such a significant weapon and tells the whole story of the Skywalker family. It went from Anakin to Luke to Rey and some other people in between, and saw the rise and fall of republics, empires, great Jedi, and so much more from its creation in 22 BBY to its burial in 35 ABY. It's been broken, repaired, and ignited by both sides of the Force. I mean, we know that Anakin was good at building from like C-3PO and stuff, but this lightsaber was obviously built well with all that it has faced. I mean, it's like fallen thousands of feet to a garbage and pulled apart by the Force and almost smelted on Mustafar. Anakin built a pretty good saber. I can be an honorary Skywalker and have this saber myself. It's just so pretty and I love it so much. This saber is so shiny and so iconic, and it just reminds me of the Skywalker saga and all that Star Wars is, all that's done, and everything that's happened in the Skywalker saga and more. Definitely an elegant weapon for a more civilized age, in the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi. This weapon is your life, don't lose it. But Anakin kind of did lose his life when he lost his lightsaber, because he wasn't Anakin Skywalker anymore. He became Darth Vader and he lost that life and his lightsaber. So that's the whole journey of Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. One last look before I say goodbye, and may the Force be with you.